How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to the Inside the Show podcast. It's actually a really great day today. I got somebody on who I think is probably one of my bigger, more somebody who I look up to a lot, and somebody who is just honestly a pleasure to have on. I met him not too long ago, but I've known him long enough to where I see what kind of things he does in his life and the way he carries himself, and I really respect him for it. So Ben here, Ben Wilson, a really good friend of mine, is on the come up of becoming a professional bodybuilder. So Ben, thank you so much for pulling up today, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it's good to be here. I don't know if we can say on the come up of a professional bodybuilder yet, but we're on track, I would say.
I think you'll get there.
Someday.
That's what we're hoping for. For the first segment, it's called Quote of the Week. So we just run through kind of a few things, or maybe just one of something you learned this week, maybe a motto that you live by, or anything really special. So, and I always let the guests go first. So let's hear it, bro.
Gentlemen. So this one's completely original. It's something that I've always said, and I tried to tell it to you earlier this week, and you said I had to save it for this. It's something I always tell people, and it's something that I live by now at this point. I think there's three types of people in this world. I think there's sayers, I think there's doers, and then I think there's a select few people that can say and do. But I think that's a skill that's really hard to do, and I think some people try and say before they've actually done. So I think that's something that I've found in the last couple of years that you can pretty much group any type of person into.
Oh, I love that. Jeez. What was it? The sayers and the doer. What was the last part?
You can be a sayer and a doer, but most people end up saying before they do.
I
There's not a
got you.
lot of them out there. Like I always use the example, the first person I think of is in a stupid example is Conor McGregor. Somebody that could go and talk a big game, but he would go out there and back it up. And I don't think there's many people like that because people usually like to say before they've actually done. It's like people talking about like New Year's resolutions and stuff. They like to
Mhm.
start talking a big game about it before they've actually even done it.
There's a lot of people like that out there. I mean, no joke, my campus gym was probably the most full it's ever been. I walked by it the other day, and there was
Mhm.
not a machine open, not a treadmill open, and then when I walked past it yesterday on Friday, it was like, there's nobody in there. I'm like, "It's the first week." It's the first week back, so that's crazy. But no, I agree. Conor McGregor is one of those dudes where it's just like, he talks so much crap, and it's like, okay, well, let's see what he's about. And then he goes out there and he just crushes it, and you're like, damn, damn. So that's a really good example. I love Conor McGregor. You think he's gonna be fighting again soon, or I want him
I don't
to. I feel like he's
I don't
done,
think
but
so.
yeah,
I think at this point, it's like a lot of the athletes as they get a little bit older and they've had some injuries, they're preserving their legacy at this point. It would only
yeah.
hurt it to go out there.
I mean, he's a freaking actor now, dude. He was just in a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, I saw that.
But my quote is actually not from a book or anything kind of what I'm reading right now or anything like that. Usually I bring a book and it's usually something from the book I'm reading. But this one I got from one of my friends I was talking to when I got back on campus. And it just kind of struck a nerve. And I was just kind of like, whoa. And we were talking about like becoming better versions of ourselves, right? So essentially, I was just kinda talking to him about everything I was doing. He was telling me what he was doing over a break and things like that, and he made a comment where he was like, "Becoming the best version of yourself, like, comes with a lot of goodbyes to things that, whether that's time with family, time with friends, and, like, you're just saying goodbye to, like, your old life, quote, unquote." And I thought it was really interesting because it is so true. Like, when I was in prep, and I'm sure you can relate because you've done how many preps now? 3? 2 or
3.
3? 3 preps? To where you pretty much give up everything normal. I mean, you're on a regimented routine with cardio and working out, and then plus like the meals on top of that. Like you can't go out, you can't really do a whole lot of things. You have to be on top of everything, and you live in a box pretty much for that amount of time that you're in prep. And that's like with any
Yeah.
fitness prep too. Like even if you're like I've seen guys like that are doing Ironman training, they train like 2 to 3 times a day, and it's like constant, constant, constant. And then especially with like business guys now and business owners, like, they're always trying to make their business better, and they have, like, no time for a lot of other people. So I just feel like it's really interesting because to become, like, your best self, it could be contradicting because you could be a better person if you spend more time with your family or spend more time with your friends, but there's a line. I feel like there's a very clear line where, yes, you can hang out with people and you can be a good version of yourself, and letting people in is a way to do that, but also, you do have to say goodbye to a lot of different things. So, I thought it was just
Yeah.
an interesting parallel that he touched on.
I think there's 2 levels that go to that as well. I mean, there's let's put it this way, there's people that, let's say, run a marathon or do a bodybuilding show or prep, like, do anything. If you wanna just do it, you can do it and you can keep that balance. You don't have to say goodbye to those things, but the second you decide that you wanna be the best, you're gonna have to, like your friend was saying, there's sacrifices are gonna need to be made. If you just your goal is just to be run a marathon or step on stage of a bodybuilding show, you can keep your balance on both sides, but if you have that hunger to be the best, you're gonna have to sacrifice some things. So there's 2 levels to it, and there's different types of people. There's some people that are completely okay with just having that balance and still being able to do everything, but saying they stepped on stage or saying they ran a marathon or ran a 5K. And then the difference is there's those people that they don't want the participation trophy. They have to
Yeah.
it's either all in or all out.
Mhm. It's so common now too, because even what you were talking about in that first point where it's like there are sayers and doers, and the sayers usually talk a big game, but some people don't back it up. It's where there are the doers where they actually go in and do it, and they don't really care about the talk. They just like you were saying, going all in on a specific goal that they might have. So, I think that's kinda what our personality types are. Like, when we have a goal, we kinda just go for it no matter what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that you touched on that.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to be a doer long enough that you get to the point that you can say and do. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the overall goal, and I think once you get to that point, you know when you can talk, but the goal is not to be the sayer on the way up when you're trying to still do.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's always the goal is to eventually get to a point where you're a successful sayer and doer.
Yeah. And I feel like you always have to back it up. Like, there are al like, I've always been a doer. I have never been that guy that, like, talks, especially, like, back in high school when I used to play sports and stuff. I would always receive the trash talk, but I would never dish it out. So it's always like I would always have to take it and kind of just run with it, but I feel like you have to really accomplish something, or maybe not something big, like a huge goal, but just being a good person and, like, emulating that through, like, your personality and whatever it is, but yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. Yeah. So, I kinda wanted to just start simple with these questions. This one's gonna be super basic for you, but I'm very interested to hear what you have to say, but I really wanted to just start simple and say how you fell in love with bodybuilding. Like, where did that switch get flipped? I know you was from a really young age that you were kind of, like, starting to get obsessed with it, but when was that, like, peak moment where you're like, "Oh, I really like this and I enjoy it, like, I wanna pursue it?"
Yeah, I think this is a good question. I think to start with, I'm on the same trajectory as most people when they started lifting. I lifted to get better at a sport. I played soccer, and my goal was to lift in order to be better at soccer.
Mhm.
But along the way, and like I'll tell you, I mean, with soccer, I achieved some great things. I won a lot of great things, but I found throughout my career, I was always in second place. I was always like,
Mhm.
we were always the runner up. My team was always the runner up. And I think team sports are hard because you sit there and you can walk off that field and you could have put a 10 out of 10 performance in and still lost the game. And I think the longer I sat there and I looked at bodybuilding, I get you have a coach, I get you have all this stuff, but it boils down to you. Either like if you weren't good enough, you weren't good enough. It wasn't because, oh, you didn't do enough cardio or if you weren't good enough, you weren't good enough. You either put in the work and you got the result or you didn't. Like there was no one to blame. And I liked that because I'll dish it a lot, but I'll tell anybody this. No one's harder on me than me. I'm
Mhm.
so honest with myself that I think it just kind of clicked that I could sit there and I could look at myself and see the work that needed done. I didn't look at myself and be like, "Oh, I look great. Like this is exactly what I want to be like." It was something I could strive to push myself to. And then I think it was just that control aspect. Like I liked having the control that whatever happened, whether win or lose, that was on me.
Mhm. Okay. Was there, like, a specific moment? I know you said it was mostly about being better at soccer. I bet just, like, lifting you probably started lifting in what, like, high school class?
Yeah,
They probably had, like,
probably
a
sophomore.
lifting class or, like, after school activity kinda thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Mine was just a couple of guys we went and lifted at it was like a social event and I didn't have a crazy amount of friends. There was a
Oh,
couple of
okay.
guys going to the gym and I thought, you know what, this will be a great way to kind of like I was kind of friends with them, but I was like, this will be a great way to try and have some stronger friendships because I was more of a put my head down type of guy that I thought, you know what, this could be something good that I could go work out, but I could also make some friends along the way. So I guess to get to your point of a specific moment, I think for a long time, I said I was gonna like I wanted to do bodybuilding and like it's hard to know because you watch it on YouTube and you watch it like on TikTok or Instagram and it's mostly like you just see the good stuff. Like you don't see the mental side of it, like you don't see the people struggling, like how long it takes, like and I think for probably 3 years, I was like, "Oh, I wanna bodybuild, I wanna bodybuild." And then I got to college, and my parents were always like, "Man, we put so much into soccer, like, we wanna see you play." And I was like, "Alright." So I went and played college soccer. After my first year, I had torn my quad, and I got through the season, and I played most of the games, and I was like, "You know what? I'm good now." Like, I got a concussion right at the end of the season. I was like, "This is God telling me to kinda back off, that this is probably it for me." And I'm a competitive person, so I wanted to find a way to still channel that. And for the longest time, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to bodybuild. I want to do a show. And I was like, you know what? That following spring, I was like, let's do it. And I think what's funny about it is like when you see it from the outside, like I was saying, you think it's going to be really easy. And the whole way through, like, I literally looked at it and I was like, this is the worst. This is the stupidest decision of my life. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is so dumb.
Mm,
I was
mhm.
like, soccer might have been better. And then here you are 3 shows deep. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, it was just kind of a thing that, like, soccer was kinda on the way out, and I kinda like to have a competitive outlet, so I kinda just shifted in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, that's I feel like that's a lot of lifters' journey. They always start, especially with guys, it's always like, "Oh, I started lifting for my sport to get stronger, faster, whatever." And then it kinda at least for me, not everybody takes the journey of, starting to do bodybuilding, but when guys, like, work out and they actually get serious into the gym, it starts if they did sports in, like, middle school, high school. So that totally makes sense. Especially you went to college for soccer, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Who, like coming up with another question here on the spot, but who were you inspired by at the time? Because you mentioned, like, social media and stuff. Who were you watching? Who was your inspiration to maybe take that next step?
So, it's kinda funny when I started, I'll tell you, I never missed, like, any YouTuber's show day video. I always
Mhm,
thought those looked like the coolest things, like, I followed, like, all of C-Bum's prep videos,
mhm,
like, to the Olympia, like, I didn't miss a single one of them. And I'll tell you what now, I don't watch a single thing about bodybuilding whatsoever, like, I'll see the odd, like, Instagram on it, but, like, YouTube-wise, like, even my second show, I every night I'd, like, go to bed watching, like, somebody's show day video, like, I might watch C-Bum's, like, Olympia videos, like, 5, 6, 7
mhm.
times in a prep. Like, I don't know, I just thought it was the coolest thing, and now, like, I don't even look at it, which is the funniest thing, but no, when I started, it was definitely looking at Chris Bumstead. I think looking at some of those high achieving people that were still very humble, because I think from the outside, when you look at bodybuilding, like, I'd look at a lot of those people and, like, I'd be like, "Oh, I don't wanna be like them." And I think once you realize that within the sport, there's are some good people there and they're humble, they're compassionate, like, it's not like the dudes that are just angry bouncing off the wall, the stigma that it comes with, and you realize that there is good stuff in there. I think that's the people that I started gravitating towards on YouTube, so I guess that's what I would say.
Okay. So you'd say, like, a C-Bum was, like, I feel like C-Bum is probably the most influential bodybuilder of, like, the current era, at least.
Percent,
I
100%.
mean, he's got what, 6 titles, and he just had another kid, and did you hear about that? Second kid?
Yeah, just the other day, maybe 2 days ago.
That was
Yeah, all
nuts.
daughters.
Oh, yeah, it is. Do you think that
Uh-uh.
he'll put his kids in bodybuilding? I feel like he's just gonna, like I think he said it before, but he kinda wants them to stay away from it.
I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I don't think he would I mean, as a parent, I don't think you're gonna go overboard in discouraging it because it's just gonna make the kid wanna do it more, but I think seeing, like, the sport at his level and what he had to do to get to that level, I think
Mhm.
he will definitely gravitate those girls towards a different path would be my guess,
Yeah. I don't know, I just thought I'd ask because it's pretty interesting because he's talked about it before. He's been on a couple podcasts where I think the one with Modern Wisdom with Chris William, he was talking about it where he asked him like, "Oh, like, are you gonna get your kids into bodybuilding too?" Because his wife also did bodybuilding too. She was like I don't know what her title
she was a
was,
Miss
but she
Olympia.
won. Yeah, Miss Olympia one time, yeah.
I don't know what
So,
division, but yeah,
yeah,
I
I
know
don't
what
either.
division.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting though. He was like, "No, I kinda want them to not copy me, and be their whatever they want, to choose."
100%, yeah.
Yeah. But, I think what I'm interested in for you is, like, how did bodybuilding change the way you see yourself, like, outside the gym. Because we always talk about, like, we always see the inside the gym personality, you're a big guy, you're a bodybuilder, and you're massive, frankly. So, like, how does bodybuilding change the way you see yourself, not inside the gym, but more, like, outside? And how has it, like, affected your life?
I think honestly, like a majority of the like things I look at, like there's obviously some negative sides, like not being able to go out to eat with family, like having to weigh out your meals, things like that. That like when you step back, you can definitely view it as a negative for sure. But I
Mhm,
will tell you, the one thing I would not have seen for myself when I started bodybuilding was how focused I get. Like for example, when I'm in a prep, my first prep, and I was like, I was a good college student, to be fair. I was probably a 3.5 GPA student the whole way through. The 2 preps I did when I was in college, 4.0, 4.0. And then this prep I went to go for I started this prep and I was like, I kinda like to pair something hard with it because 'cause I'm like, you know what, let's
mhm,
see. I kinda like to test myself and see what I'm made of. And so I paired the CFA with that, which people look that up. It's pretty much it's chartered financial analyst. It's essentially in the investment world, it's probably the best designation you can get. It's about 350 hours of studying per test, and there's 3 levels, but I mean, it's
that's
incredibly hard, and
crazy.
I don't know why, but the second I get into a prep, my brain just kinda flips a switch, and it's like work, food, cardio, studying. Like, I don't have any of the other bullshit out there. Like, my mind is just, like, so focused, and I think that's something that bodybuilding has given me that, like, when it is time to lock in or flip a switch and I need to completely put all my focus or attention on something, I'm fully able to do it, and on the counter, I'll also say, just doing hard things. Once you go through and I will always encourage I tell everybody this, my clients, this, everything. I'll encourage anybody to do a bodybuilding show once. I'm not saying you gotta go to the max, but you know what? You'll learn a lot about yourself in a prep. You'll answer a lot of questions that you had about yourself, and come the end, you're gonna realize you were a lot stronger and tougher than you thought you were, or you're gonna realize that your mind's pretty damn weak and you've got some work to do. But regardless, you're gonna know exactly where you stand with yourself, and in the future, when you go and do hard things, they're not gonna be as hard as you thought because you're gonna be like, "Look, I went and did this 25-week prep, and here I am, like,
Mhm,
sitting here going to work every day. It's not that hard. Going and working a hard shift, going to work all day and then studying at night, like, none of it's really that hard. You
mhm,
kinda get some perspective from it once you step back from it, I would say.
yeah. And a lot of these, like, fitness preps, like, especially with bodybuilding, it does not compare to like somebody who's running a marathon, somebody who's doing like a distance prep. It's very different. You're doing probably as much effort and as much load, I would say, as somebody who's doing a bodybuilding prep, but with bodybuilding, it's like you do it with minimal energy, like your minimal intake of
Mhm.
food where if you're running a marathon, they run like I think they run a half marathon as part of their training. So it's like 13 miles. They're fueling for that. 'Cause I also feel like you can't do both in a sense. You can't run and then have low calories, like, that's just not gonna pan out very well. No, but
Oh,
I
absolutely. I mean, the difference is it just doesn't stop.
yeah, 100%.
Like,
Uh
when you run a marathon or, like, you're training for that, once you step out like, once you get home from that run, it kinda stops. Whereas
mhm,
bodybuilding, and you'll know this better than anybody, once you get home from the gym, it doesn't stop. You then got the cardio on top of it, you got the diet on
yep,
top of that.
yep.
It's a full around the clock job, which I don't think any other sport or hobby or anything demands that.
I totally agree, and I love the part where you're saying, like, when you because for people who don't know, I didn't introduce him as this before, but he is my coach. This is the guy who got me actually on the stage when I thought I really couldn't. Uh But you're right, like, if you don't encourage oh, no, you encourage everybody to go through a prep because it teaches you what you're made of. I
Mhm.
honestly if I didn't do a prep and I didn't go up and get on stage and perform, it's like, it's 6 months of my life that I'll never regret because not only like, sure, it was hard, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, but I'm so much better for it now, and I know what I can do, and you're right, it gives you confidence. If you're talking about, like, going to into a hard shift, if you're studying for a big exam, like, things like that, like, it's almost nothing in comparison to half a year of prepping and going through that hard, difficult time in your life. If you know you can handle
Exactly.
that point, you can do anything. That's why
Yeah,
I'm starting to, like, run now. I know you don't like running, and you don't like the fact that I'm running, but it is challenging. Like, running has provided a new challenge for me. That's why I'm doing it. However, because I know I've already done a prep, I'm like, "Hell yeah, I can run a half marathon. Hell yeah, I can run, a Spartan race this year." Like, I know I can do that because not only have I done a prep and survived it, like, I know I can do it because I've already done the hard stuff.
exactly. The
Yeah.
key you said there was the 6 months. You said,
Mhm.
like, if I gotta study for a test, like, here's the thing, like, for you, for example, you in school right now, what's if you got a test in a week, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna study your ass off for a week, and a week to you, once you eat the same food and do the same training and everything for 6 months, you sit there and you realize that to lock in for 1 week is nothing. Like, time-wise, that is nothing. It's not time-wise, it is not hard at all to sit there and focus for a week or 2 weeks or 3. It's easy.
Mhm. That's a great point to make. Cause like, yeah, you're right. Even, like, tests right now, I mean, I'm not even I don't even study a week prior. It's, like, even 3 days. 3 days before the test, I'm locking in and I got stuff I gotta know for this exam. So, if I can do it for 6 months, I can do it for 3 days, you know? And I'm not in a super
Exactly.
strict yeah, exactly. I'm not in a super strict prep mode anyway. So, yeah. I just
Uh-huh.
like the way you talked about that. But let's move on here. So I know a little bit about your training regimen, but I'm not familiar with how it differs from off season to in season. So how does it differ from because I know you have the same type of like training split, but can you walk us through like all me and the listeners just kind of what your routine looks like on a daily basis now and then maybe talk about what it was like on prep.
So now we're slowly bringing the reps back down. Let's say that.
Mhm.
So if before we were doing like peak off season, we're usually about 6 to 8 reps, maybe 4 to 6, depending on the movement. But
Mhm.
then once you get towards the end of prep and once you come out of prep and you start the reverse, your body's still a little fragile in the sense
Mhm.
that you don't want to sit there in that 4 to 6 rep range because you're probably going to tear something, get a micro tear, strain something. You have the potential for all those. So usually once you're getting close to a show, the rep range is starting to increase. And the goal in a prep is to try and keep the weight up as much as you can. Like that is how you're going to preserve tissue. If you can keep your strength up, you're going to be able to hold a lot of the tissue, which is the goal of a show, is to not waste
Yeah.
away your tissue. But
Yeah.
then what people don't think about is coming out of a show, you can you're going to start eating. You're probably going to put on 10 pounds in the first couple weeks easily. And then what happens is that strength starts coming back because you've got the energy. You're not on the zero carbs that you were leading into the show. And people start loading up weight. They start going, oh, I'm strong now. Let me throw 315 on here now and hit 4 reps. And it's really like one of the worst things you can do because when your body was just used to, let's say, 235, and in
Mhm.
a 2 3 week period, you're going to jump from 235 to 315. It's going to be really detrimental to your body. And even if you get out of it without hurting yourself, you're probably going to have some joint issues. You're probably going to have some recovery issues. And so now it's kind of getting to a point where when I got out of the show, I was sitting in the 10 to 12 rep range. We're starting to gravitate in towards the 6 to 8. And then usually once we get to the heavy compounds, we'll start moving into the 4 to 6 for some of those movements. But by and large, we'll sit anywhere from the 6 to 8 to the 10 to 15 rep range, depending on the muscle group.
How many exercises per muscle group per week do you think you're doing?
Usually around 4, I'd say. I say
Okay.
shoulders, I think it's a little different. It's a couple extra because you got the 3 sides of the shoulder, but like biceps, triceps, it's 4 movements, chest, it's 4 movements, back, I mean, we just hit back yesterday. It's probably, I'd say, a hard, consistent 4 movements. We might mix an accessory in there, but by and
Mhm.
large, it's 4. So usually it's 4 good movements, and I like to make sure to throw a movement in to start just to get everything moving because I'm not a big stretcher. Like I know you're a big fan of the stretching and everything, but I do advocate for at least getting a muscle warm before you
Mhm.
start going at it. Because I know a lot of people that'll head in and just throw a bunch of weight on the bar to start, or they'll start with their compound. I think it's still, especially at my size and strength now, you have to warm up a little bit more, which is what we were talking about the other day. You got to build up to those weights. You can't just throw the weight on like you used to when you first started lifting.
100%. For anybody out there listening, take your warm up seriously. Ben here, he doesn't necessarily like do what I do, which is a bunch of band work and, things for my shoulders and et cetera, mobility. But he does do a lot of like blood flow work. So he's doing like a little bit, some feeder sets where he's just kind of getting some blood into the muscle, getting everything nice and relaxed and moving. So just getting his muscles ready to work. So anybody out there listening, take your warm ups seriously because they will just make your workout a lot better. But yeah, I totally agree. So what's your split right now? Are you it's still one muscle group per week, right? 5 times a week?
Yeah, we got the legs, and then we've got an arm day, which is just biceps and triceps. We've got a back day in which I throw a movement of biceps in there. We've got a shoulder day in which I throw a movement of triceps in there. And then we've got a chest day in which I throw a movement of hamstrings in there. So mostly one muscle group per day, but one muscle group per week. But then and I'll throw in an accessory for some of the lagging muscle groups to a certain degree, or the ones I just want to keep up on. I can recover a little quicker.
I got you. So how has your training like advanced and has changed over time? Because obviously you're not doing what you were doing, 3, 4 years ago.
I think it's all a shift in, I guess, tempo. So when I first started, and I think everybody starts like this, it's who can get to 135, then who can get to 225, and you're just focused on your weights. Like that's your initial milestone. And then as you start getting more into it, and as you start getting into the bodybuilding side of it and the muscle growth side of it, which is what most people are looking for outside of powerlifters, it's not about how much weight you can throw around. It's about how much weight you can control. Because if you start shoulder pressing and you can't control it and you just start throwing it up and down, number one, you can get away with that when you first start lifting because it's not a lot of weight. Now
Mhm.
I'm going to pop something in my shoulder. But
Right.
I think that's the difference. I think probably about a year ago, I pretty much took everything back to like minimal weight and I just sat there and focused on form. It was 3-second decentrics every single time. I was making sure that every time I added weight, the form wasn't dropping. If it was a chest press, the elbows were staying tucked. If it was a shoulder press, the elbows were staying out, but coming in a little bit so that it's not putting a full strain on the rotator cuff. It's all those little
Mhm.
things. I think I started getting more into the nerdy side of it and the injury prevention side.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to get into, when you think about it for long-term success, honestly, because you can't like, I talked about this on a recent podcast where it's just, like, the topic of just ego lifting, and, you and me have had our share of, stories with ego lifting, especially with a lot of people at our gym, like, we see it all the time. We deal with a lot of, like, younger guys, especially in, like, the newer Gen Z generations, but Gen Z right now has a really big problem with just overtraining and doing weight that they can't handle. I was at Dean Caputo's Powerhouse gym, I wanna say last year, and I saw a kid doing a shoulder press, and his right arm, like, caved in when he, like, kinda failed, and he hit himself on the side of the head.
Ah.
Yeah, it was wild to see because you always see those gym fails, like, on Instagram or on TikTok or wherever you get your reels, but, like, I couldn't believe it. I saw it in real time, and I was like, "Dang." Like, that 1, that hurt, and, like, 2, it's just like, well, he's kinda asking for it because he's doing weight he can't handle, and it's just like what you were talking
Yeah.
about, how you try to control the weight rather than just kinda throwing it around.
And it's like I've realized or like I realized when you sit there and you do look at these YouTube videos of these Olympia level bodybuilders and you realize that you're moving the same weight as them and they've probably got an extra 60 plus pounds of tissue on you. You're sitting there and you should be asking yourself the question, am I doing something wrong? Because there's no reason I should be moving the same amount of weight as them. Is my form off? What's wrong? Like why am I doing the same as them?
Yeah, that's a good point. When Derek Lunsford is like, barbell rowing 405 pounds, you should not be doing that. Uh,
405 pounds.
yeah, you should not you should not be doing that. What's your, what's, like, your top 10 exercises? I don't know if you've seen, like, C-Bum do that or, Chris William did it too, but, like, what's your top 10 exercises? If you couldn't do anything else, what are the best 10 exercises you would do to build muscle?
All right.
Here we go. Strap in.
I'm gonna start. I'll start beginning of the week. I'll do a bicep preacher curl,
Okay,
single arm preferably.
okay.
And then I will go a tricep push down with a Vulcan attachment. If you people know what that is, if not, we'll go just a rope attachment. And then For chest, I would go incline Smith,
Okay.
and I would also go,
Be your fourth one.
yeah, I'm gonna go dips as well.
Okay. Okay.
Get you can get your triceps and your chest with that. Then I'm gonna go Smith shoulder press, and then I'm gonna go hack squat, lying hamstring curl, and then
Need something for maybe something like an
back.
accessory for back and quads. Yeah.
Quads, I mean, I guess because I've got 3 spots left, I'd probably just go a leg extension, and then I'd go I'd go a T-bar row, and I'd go, a single arm lat pull down.
Okay. That's pretty specific. That might just be specific to like your physique.
Yeah, oh, well, I probably would do if I needed I'd probably do more than 2 arm movements.
Well, what would you say, like, if you were just starting out, what are the 10 exercises like somebody else would be doing if they like just started going to the gym? Like, what are the
I mean, just
basics?
started going to the gym. You you could train those muscle groups a couple times a week because 'cause they're not that big at that point. And I mean, then we're talking probably 2 types of bicep curls, probably a hammer curl and a preacher curl, then we're talking probably 2 tricep movements, probably some type of push down and some type of overhead.
Mm,
And then shoulders, we're talking some type of probably a dumbbell press just so you can start getting the form down and getting the strength in the rotator cuffs. And then some lateral raises, some rear delt flies, and then back. Just in general, I will just say row. I mean,
yeah.
that when people say that the cliche term of row to grow is very accurate. So I'd say any type of row that you can do, if you're rowing, you're probably growing. And then legs, it's probably like a just to start. I don't know that you need to be hack squatting and doing all that crazy stuff. I'd probably go leg press, leg extension, some hamstring curls. And I mean, I think that's the bulk of it, and like chest presses and stuff like that, fly machine.
Hmm.
I think it should just be you should just be keeping it simple. That you don't need to be sit don't even look at TikTok, don't look at Instagram. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing on there. They're wrong. Just go back and look at an 80s or 90s training clip and just follow that.
That's honestly true. A lot of like older stuff, they were doing a lot of basic stuff back then, but it's like the foundations of what you need.
Exactly. I mean, it's like in school. I don't know if your teachers ever said this to you, but my teachers would always use the KISS acronym with us. The keep it simple, stupid.
No,
They'd
I've
all
never heard that. What?
really, they'd always, I had like 3 teachers that would always say that in high school. I'm like, that's, I think, exactly what you need to do with when you start training. Don't sit there trying to over elaborate it and start bringing out the cuffs to hit lateral raises and stuff. Just go in there, hit the muscle groups, stimulate the muscles. You're going to grow quick. You've got beginner gains, and then just get out of there. I mean, you should be in and out in 45 to an hour. You don't need to be doing these crazy long workouts where you hit 12 movements of a muscle group and the next day you
Hmm.
can't even lift your arms. Pointless.
Yeah. It's like perceived exertion. It's like no, like if you do a really hard leg day and you know you can't handle it, it's like it's gonna take you like a week and a half.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
when we do it, like sure, like because we've been in the gym for 6 plus years and it's like we've built up enough muscle and yeah, and enough we train pretty hard and the intensity's there, but it's on a consistent basis, so our body's not, like, in shock when we go and, like, hit this really hard training session. Now, don't get me
Exactly.
lie don't get me wrong, like, hitting legs, especially legs, is hard, especially if you do it right, and, you know, the leg day we hit last week was torturous, but, like, I recovered from it in about 3 days,
Yeah.
which is pretty good.
It's mental.
Yeah, it is mental for the most part. You can't until you can't get up from the toilet or walk upstairs properly, yes, it's mental. What do you think most people understand about the bodybuilding lifestyle? What's like a common occurrence that you see people don't understand about?
I think people think it's 360 days a year, that there's no balance. I don't think that people realize that when you're in prep, you're serious, but the rest of the year, you don't have to sit there and kill yourself to stay in shape.
Be miserable, yeah.
Parents view it. I know that's how a lot of people view it. You don't have to, when you're in prep, you're in prep. But outside of prep, like if you want 2 free meals a week, take 2 free meals. Don't eat so that you're sick. But like if you're out and your friends want to go get a burger, go get a burger. Don't be the weird guy that goes, "Oh, I've got my food at home and stuff." Like just go get the burger. And I'm at fault of this. When I first started, it was all or nothing. I was 110% in. Like I'd be
Mhm.
like, no, I've got to, I can't miss this meal. I even until the last show, or even until my second show, I was like that. And then after my second show, I sat there and I thought, in the grand scheme of things, one burger or getting some sushi or stuff like that isn't going to be the make or break.
Yeah.
If you go and plan for one free meal a week, which is what I encourage everybody to do, have that one free meal and leave the room that if something pops up, don't go there stressed. Like the worst are the people that go out to eat and have their free meals or have their cheat meals and they're like stressed about what it's going to do to them. The whole point is to get your body to relax and to like get you into a calmer state than eating the
Mhm.
same things every day. So when it is time to switch on for a prep, switch on, but outside of that, leave room to live some life.
Yeah. That's kind of true, I guess. I mean, especially with my parents, my friends, like, yeah, I do prep food. Like, a lot of my friends, they'll be like, "Oh, look, he brought his meal prep today," and I'm like, "Well, yeah," but like, I'll go out to dinner with my family or something 1 to 2 times a week, just so I can, you know, be
Yeah,
there with them and eat some regular food or but even, like, the regular food, like, just choosing the healthier option, like, what if it's, like, you know,
exactly.
you go out to a place, like, and just not trying to pig out, like, you have a really
Yeah,
good saying, it's like, "Don't eat like an asshole," and that's yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
and I learned that the hard way because after the show, I was eating a bunch of food, and it was actually too much, and it was, like, practically I was stuffing myself, but then I took a step back and I was like, "Alright, well, I'm done." Like, the food is always gonna be there no matter what, so now it's more of, like, if you do go out to eat with your friends and you don't have any meal prepared or whatever, that's okay. Like, go out to eat, you know, maybe have, like, something healthy, like a salad with chicken on it or, like, maybe a baked potato and, like, steak or something that it could be related to, like, the macros you're trying to hit that day or, you know, that you're just trying to stay on track, like, as long as you're not, like, going out to eat every single day and you get you know what I mean? Like, always choosing the
Yeah,
healthier side even if you're not prepared to if you don't have any food prepared. Like, that's been the biggest thing
yeah.
for me.
And I'll say this with, and you can chime in on this because you're one of my clients, but I, after my, like when I first give my clients their meal plans and stuff, and usually like a lot of them gravitate towards the meal by meal. And I do too, just because it's easier, it takes out the guesswork. I don't have to sit there and play macro jigsaw at the end of the day and try and put it together.
Yeah.
Once you do it for long enough, you don't even like I like to eat out, don't get me wrong, but I also like to feel good. And I'll tell you what, when
Mhm.
you eat out a lot or you go and eat some shit food, you feel like shit. Like it hits you harder than a person that's used to eating like that. And so when people like sit there and they're like, "Oh, you brought your meal prep?" Yeah, I like feeling good. This meal is going to digest nicely. I'm going to be able to go to the gym. My stomach's not going to hurt. I'm not going to sit there in class and feel like crap. Like, yeah, I did bring my meal prep. I like to feel good. Like, sue me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's I feel like that's what nutrition should be about. It's like, yes, there are like what I like to call pleasure foods. Like you really do like to have a burger, have the sushi, have the ice cream, whatever it is. Like that's okay to have once in a while. But I think I stress the fact that like food is fuel and food is made to actually feel like make you feel okay. Like make you feel good. Like there are certain types of food groups that I eat and I feel, oh, like I feel good after eating that. Like you know, ground beef and potatoes and like asparagus or like some kind of vegetable, that makes me feel good. That's going to give me more fuel throughout the day. You know, I got some like slower digestive carbs with the potato, like that feels good. I got some good lean protein that doesn't taste like crap. It's beef, it's got a little bit of fat in it. And then the asparagus, I mean, asparagus is kind of trash, but if you can always substitute it with like broccoli or
Anything.
broccoli, carrots, like whatever vegetable, maybe even a fruit. If you're really like if you really like fruit, you can always have like an apple or a banana on the side, like really stuff like that. Just choosing the healthier option, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's I think that's a good thing that you touched on though. It's like just feeling eating food for not how it tastes, but for how it makes you feel is like one of the most important things. Because if you feel like crap, like the I feel like crap when I eat crap. When I eat like I haven't eaten out like McDonald's or any fast food in a while, but you have something fried, like I'll feel kind of gross, you know, you'll feel bloated afterwards. And I'm probably not the only one that would feel like that if I ate something that was
Yeah,
kind of not the greatest for you. But when you eat something that's pretty good, not only is your body gonna feel good, but the mental part in your brain is gonna make you feel good. Like, the actual psychology of eating something healthy for you is going to just reinforce the habit. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree.
It's not flashy, but not being stuck on the toilet for the day after you have that meal is a huge positive.
Exactly. I do wanna kinda switch gears here, though, because I'm interested in your recent show because we haven't gone over it too much. Because you went to Texas, which is really, really cool, and you probably met a lot of interesting people, a lot of, big guys that are probably on your level. I'm just kinda curious to hear your experiences on how that trip went and then how that show went as well.
No, it was a really cool experience because I've only ever competed at like local shows. That was my first regional show or national show, I guess you'd say. The other
Yeah.
shows are regional, but that was my first national show, and I think it was a cool experience because, like I've told people, like usually, like when you're in like the amateurs and amateurs, like just trying to get your national qualification, you're seeing some pretty gnarly people showing up that are like they don't look like the type of people you want to associate with.
Mhm.
Like it smells backstage. Like you've got like a one by one space that everybody's in. Like it's not a really enjoyable experience. And
Really?
then I got to nationals, I was surprised because it was like you were like a pro athlete there, like the way that you like people interacted with you, the way everything was run, like it didn't smell bad backstage, like everybody had etiquette, like there wasn't a bunch of dudes with blown out guts backstage yelling that they should have won the show. Those guys get thinned out in the local shows. You get to the nationals and you realize it's a higher echelon of people. It's people trying to be a pro athlete that are good enough to qualify to this show to be a pro athlete. It's not the dudes that just come back and just start freaking out. So that was I think the biggest thing that surprised me. I thought that wouldn't happen until I got to the pros, but I think how that show was put on, you felt like a pro athlete there.
Mm, that's cool. How many guys were in your class? Like 11? And then, like, how many people in that show? Like, how many total people were there? I know there was a lot because it was a national show.
So I can tell you I was number 679. And I
Damn.
think it went up to like 900.
Holy crap.
So there was a lot of people there. Yeah. But I mean, that's
Mhm.
the biggest national show of the year. I mean, people traveled from all over the country to go there.
Yeah. What's something you learned from being on the stage?
I don't know. I don't feel like, and I think you can attest to this, being on the stage isn't like, I guess it's like, it's just the showing off of your hard work. You don't really
Mhm.
learn anything once you get on the stage. I feel like it's everything up to the stage that's where you learn. And like kind of once you get up there, it's just kind of like showing off everything that you've worked for and like what you've suffered for.
Yeah.
But I don't think because on the stage, like I'll tell you what, and I don't you could maybe tell me you're different. My brain just blacks out. I get out there, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Like I know my poses, I know like they tell me where to stand, I go stand there, posing routine, I walk out. It's like it's mindless. You're in like such a like haze that you like then you get off stage and you're like, oh shit, I was just on stage. Like you don't even kind of know what's going on.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, obviously, our experiences are different because mine was a local and it was a natural show where yours was, national level, and it's just a completely different atmosphere, I feel like. But I mean, you were there backstage with me. I wasn't I don't wanna say into it, but I was just kinda, like, going with the flow. I wasn't really stressed out. I was kinda just sitting there, like what made me mad, though, is how long I had to wait before I got on stage. Like, that was the biggest pet peeve of mine because I was sitting there before you got there. I mean, I had to get tanned up at, like, 5 AM in the morning.
Yeah. And the time goes backwards. I mean, those
Yeah.
hours are 3 hours.
I was sitting there, of course, I got, like, no fat on my butt, so it hurt to sit down. Uh,
Feel the bones.
yeah, I feel the bones, and I remember just sitting there reading, kinda just waiting for everybody to show up, and I sat there for, like, a good 2, 3 hours because I got there no, I got there around, like, 8:39, something like that. You showed up a little later. The show was at, like, I think noon or something. I don't know. No, 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 no. It started at, like, 10:30, so I sat there
I
for
feel like I was there at like 8 or 8:30, I feel like.
yeah, 8 or 8:30, I was sitting there for maybe an hour and a half by myself, but it felt so long. It was probably the most peace I've felt all prep though, because I was just sitting there like, "Okay, well, I've done the work, I don't really have to do anything else."
Actually,
Like, I just
the
have
work's
to
done.
yeah, the work is done, all I have to do is go out there and show what I've done. Like, I don't have to the biggest relief for me is, like, I knew cardio was, like, pretty much done, I didn't have to get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
for a little bit after that, and that was, like, the biggest relief because doing it 2 times a day, I honestly
Yeah.
think that is harder than running, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you realize that there's nothing you're gonna do from the 5 o'clock you wake up in the morning till the 10:30 you step on stage. Like, there's no miracle you're gonna pull. You either know you look good or you know you look bad.
Yeah,
And
that's
if you
true.
know you look good, you're not worried. You're just excited to go out there and show what you got.
Yeah. It was such a crazy experience because I didn't expect that many people to, like, show up to support
Mhm.
me, and when I heard, like, you're on stage, but, like, the lights are so bright, I can only see, like, the judges and maybe the front 2 rows.
Exactly.
And I'm hearing my name, like, being called out, and I'm like, "That's pretty freaking cool." And I bet it was like that for you too. I know your parents weren't at the show. I know because it's out of state, obviously, it's really, really far, and you had to fly for that, and mine was local, but, I mean, we were all watching from home. Like, I watched, a lot of people from our gym watched, your
Yeah.
girlfriend watched, your parents watched, so I bet it's just, like, a really surreal feeling to just know that even though through all, like, the suffering you went through, that people were there for you at every step of the way.
Absolutely, and those people are the people that wanted to see you succeed. It's not the people that after you won that came and congratulated you. It was the people that had been there the whole way through that they wanted you to see you succeed. They weren't just gonna give you a pat on the back once you had already succeeded. They were there every step of the way.
Yeah. It's like you said before, like, it is a life-changing experience, and there's no other, like, real way to put it.
Mhm.
This is you've talked about this with me before, but I wanna know if you're comfortable with talking about it on the podcast, but what is the hardest moment during some of your preps, especially maybe the last one?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, you know what I'm gonna get into with
No,
this one, but
you know what I'm hinting at.
yeah. So, and it's a great thing. I'm always excited to talk about it because so essentially when I middle of August, towards end of August, I found out that my college roommate of 3.5 years, my best friend, that he got a really bad cancer diagnosis. It was pretty rare, hard to treat. I mean, I think when he first got it, they said it was like, I don't know, 38 people in the US that had it since it had originated. I mean, extremely rare. And I think that one really, really tore me up. And I don't think I really got the chance to experience how I felt on prep. And it's only been till recently that I've been off prep that I've really started to like feel the emotions that come with it and like think about what the future could look like and all those types of things. And I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm not even gonna highlight on the things about me, but I'll tell you what, watching the way Nick's gone through this has made it made my prep so easy because I sat there and I watched him go through round after round of chemo and he worked every day, just about that he could, that he wasn't at the doctor's. He went to the gym every day. He didn't miss anything. I mean, he was still focused on his diet. I mean, he was posting most days. His attitude was positive. I mean, it was incredible to watch. And like I said in one of my videos a while back, like to me, that's a superhero because I know me, I wouldn't have reacted that well. I wouldn't have risen to the occasion the way he's risen to the occasion. And every setback he's hit, he's he's still got the best attitude about it and he doesn't waver. And I think to get that perspective while I was on prep, that completely I didn't complain to a single person after that.
Yeah.
Cause it was like what I told you, like, oh, I don't want to wake up and do cardio. I bet he doesn't want to wake up and have to go to chemo. Like, what the hell am I sitting here complaining about? Like, what a stupid thing to sit here and complain about. Like, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm hungry. Who cares? These are all choices that I put myself through. He didn't get this choice and he's still choosing to have a good attitude about it. So
Yeah.
there's no real reason for me to complain. And there's actually just reasons for me to sit there and be grateful that I get to do this.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but I really was hoping to have you talk about it on the podcast because it is really important. A lot of bodybuilders talk about, "Oh, I'm suffering. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm tired." I'm like, "Yes, that's part of what you signed up for." But we also don't take it into consideration. Like when we're on prep, when we feel like crap, there are many people in the hospital dealing with illnesses and things of that nature that they can't even get out of the bed in the morning. Like they need help to physically walk and like
Yeah.
they don't have like the same bodily functions that we have and we take things for granted. We really do. And
Hmm.
it's so like I recently had an uncle who, my uncle just had a stroke not too long ago and we went to go see him the other day and he seemed okay, but you could tell mentally, like, he was fearful, like, that could happen again, and he was
Mhm,
unsure of things, and sure he could, it was happening when he was working out, like, he was downstairs in his basement working out, and it just happened. So,
mhm.
things like that, and he spent, like, a couple days in the hospital, and he had, like, a blood clot in his brain, and that's what caused it. So, they were able to remove that blood clot, which is insane, and they saved his life. But it really just goes to show, like, we take so many things for granted, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, yes, you don't wanna get up in the morning and go on a run, do cardio, whatever. You don't wanna wake up early, go to school. "I don't wanna study for this test." Be thankful that you have all of these opportunities to do things that other
yeah.
people don't actually have.
They're all choices. You
Mhm,
can quit at any time on any of them. You don't
mhm.
have to do them. But these people that are actually like the superheroes out there that are sitting there fighting for their life and doing everything they can to hope to one day have an opportunity to do what you do, they don't get a choice, but you do. And you're gonna sit there and complain about your choice?
Yeah, it's just yeah, especially, like, it's given me a whole new perspective, especially when we worked out the other day and we're complaining about how hard the workout is, and then you said, like, "Well, my best friend's going through this, and he's not doing too hot, and he doesn't really get to do some of the things he doesn't wanna do," and I'm like, "Well, crap, like, what gives me the excuse to sit here and give 50% effort on this workout?" Or something like that, I chose to be at the gym with you at that point in time, like, why would I not give 100% if he is going
Exactly.
through this hard time, so
I mean, like, to tell you, like, he sent me a video the other day of him squatting, and he used to squat like 350 plus, and he still shows up in the gym. And I don't know how he does it, but he still trains legs. He, like, just sent me a video the other day, him squatting 225.
damn.
And, like, he was like, and he was talking to me on the phone last night. He's like, "I know it's, like, not a crazy amount of weight or anything," but I was like, "Dude, that's freaking insane that you were through 7 rounds of the highest dose chemo that a human can take, and you're still squatting 225." Like, I'd probably be crying in my bed. Like,
Yeah, right?
the fact that you're in there recording yourself squatting 225 for reps, I was like, "That's pretty damn impressive."
Mhm.
I can't even complain about sitting there hitting the hack squat, like,
Yeah.
it's that perspective that I don't think that it sucks that I'm having to go through this and that he's having to go through this for me to get it, but it'll definitely be something that always resonates on my mind that nothing in life is really that hard or that big of a deal. Long as you have your health, nothing's really that important. Nothing can't be recovered, nothing can't be fixed. Like my mom always said, nothing, like, life is fine until you have a health issue and then nothing else matters. So if you've got your health, nothing's really that big of a deal. Nothing can't be fixed.
Yeah, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Wilson. Dude, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I
Absolutely.
love you to pieces, bro. I appreciate it. You got a lot of good insights, especially Nick as well, man. We're all praying for you, but
Get him on here at some point.
I should, I should reach out to him. I should.
Yeah, you would love it.
I think
He's
I
got
will.
like I'll put you in touch with him. Like what he will come on here and say will inspire the heck out of anybody that listens to it. It is his message. Like every night, most nights I get the privilege to talk to him on the phone, and it's like it fires me up. So if you get the chance to sit there for an hour and pick his brain, you're gonna learn a lot.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm gonna just send me his number. I'll put him on here.
Will do.
All right, brother. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.